Alright guys, so I'm out here with the Eclipses and just about finished up swapping parts and everything. Right now it's not looking too good, but I'm getting ready to pull the motor on the convertible to do the 2.3 stroker build. We're going to take the block 4G64 block and put the 4G63 head on top. I'm not using the motor out of that car. That's just a car I'm actually going to be doing the build in. But I've got a built head and all my forged internals over at my tuner's house. So hopefully sometime this week or this weekend, the motor will be getting pulled in the convertible to start getting built. And then we've already got the NRG seats in. Got a couple tears in the seats right there. That's gonna be getting patched up here pretty soon. And then I've got the coilovers and all the other suspension parts, brake parts, getting switched over to this because I've got the drilled and slotted rotors on there, and then new calipers and rotors on this one. We will be getting some drilled and slotted rotors for the rear as well, and some carbon fiber ceramic brake pads, performance brakes to go on there. I found a big drum kit, a big brake kit to go on here, which definitely going to be needing it. Whereas we got the amount of power that the car is going to be making, definitely going to be needing some more stopping power. Which, for the time being, those rims actually came off of this car. I just switched them over. That way, when this motor gets pulled, all the parts are going to have to be on this car anyway. But for the time being, I will be using those rims until we get something a little better looking. I'm going to have to go with the Toyo Proxys R888Rs tire setup. And then once that is done, hopefully by the time I get done with all that, the motor should be around getting finished. Got ARP head studs, ARP main bolts, ACL street race bearings, Manley rods, Wiseco pistons, $600 valve train setup that my tuner sold me. That's going to be going in there. Got all new lifters, new valve seals, new valves. And then once the motor work and all that is done, the car will be getting repainted and a fresh set of wheels on it. So it's going to have a really clean look to it. Going to be lowering the car a little more than what it is, just for aerodynamics. Once I get those wheels, those rims are actually bigger than what's on there. Those are, I want to say 14s on the rear, 14s on the rear and 16s on the front. I just put bigger tires on the rear to match the difference. But I am going to be using these rims for the time being, just until we get something different. But hopefully it won't be too much longer before the motor gets pulled to start getting built. I've got the Gates timing belt going on there, and then just need to clean this thing up a little more. I originally got this car just for all the parts that were on it, and I was going to do the build in the convertible because it already had the 4G64 in it. But instead, just to make it a little safer, I'm using the hard top. I'm going to be going with a roll bar and roll cage, and ordering the 4-point harnesses pretty soon. I've got the AEM high flow fuel pump going in. Just everything needs to be cleaned up a little more first. And these seats are going to be going. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing with back seats yet, but I do know for the setup I'm going with, I do still want to have use of my rear seats in case more than 2 people want to ride in the car with me. So far, we're estimating around 600 to 800 horsepower with it, and this is just the GST, but after the motor build and the turbo goes on and new wheels and everything, I will be going all-wheel drive. It's so dirty right now. It just needs a bath and a new paint job for that matter. But all that will be done. I recently got a new rear windshield wiper motor because the old motor had gone out, and I got to get new support shocks for the rear. Those are going bad, so for now I've got a stick to hold it up. Right there is the charge pipe and the external wastegate that was meant to go on here for the last people that had the car. The guy I got it from got my front strut brace. I'm going to be getting a rear strut brace too at some point. So turbo manifold are pace setters. It's just a little 16G turbo, Greddy blow-off valve. And for the turbo setup, I'm going to be going a bigger turbo, a 70 trim turbo, which I'm going to have to go, for the amount of boost I'm going to be running, I'm going to have to go with a bigger external wastegate. So I'm going to have to go with different headers because the turbo is not going to be internal wastegate. It's going to be an external wastegate. So I'm gonna have to find a different setup for the manifold, which I have another set, a different manifold that can go on there for the time being, but I'm not going to be able to make the boost that I want to make with this other manifold. It's already got the external wastegate set up on it, and it's meant for a T3 turbo, which I'm going to stick with the T3 turbo, and just going to have to find an adapter for the external wastegate, being as the one that I have is a 4-bolt, not a 2-bolt like that. Like what came with the car. But hopefully not too much longer. Everything will get done, and then everything, all the parts that I have collected so far are already over at my tuner's house, just waiting for the motor to get pulled and then get put in. I've got the ACL oil pump, and everything on this car is going to be perfected in a way, hopefully anyway. That way we can get reliability with the power that it's going to be making. But tune in, like, subscribe, and follow along with this build.